What's good, bro chachos? How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing super epic today. I hope you guys are doing just fine. Now, I'm gonna talk about something that I really love, and that's FNAF. I just love FNAF. I grew up with it. I was like 5 years old when the first one came out. Now I'm 16, and Secret of the Mimic came out like 2 months ago. Honestly, there's like a huge difference between the first game and Secret of the Mimic. Like, it's almost night and day, honestly, with the gameplay, the story, the community, the fandom. Like, almost all of it is incredibly different, and I say that as a fan of the series. I feel like old FNAF and like the first 4 games and everything about it, the atmosphere, the community, the theory surrounding it, and us trying to piece the lore together, I kind of like that more than how it is now. So I just kind of want to make a video talking about FNAF and all the changes that it's had throughout the years, and how I feel like it just doesn't hit the same anymore. Still good, I still love FNAF, and I'll always support FNAF. It just, if there's a personal preference between old FNAF and new FNAF, like the Steel Wool, the studio games, I'm gonna have to pick the old ones, you know what I'm saying? I think the first point we need to start off with is the lore. FNAF, I feel like FNAF wouldn't be as popular if it wouldn't be without the lore, because like almost the entire time that this entire series has existed, we've always been focused on the lore. At first, it was the missing kids incident, the bite of 87, you know, the phone guy, all that stuff, all that good stuff, even Golden Freddy. Like, trying to solve those mysteries, it was like such a great time, you know. You just had to be in it to know, you know, but now there's like so much stuff, you know, too much stuff, to be honest. Like, what's in the box? Who the frick is Edwin? Why did he make the mimic? Why were the pieces so difficult to put together, and why is he stuck singing this stupid song? Who's David? Does he like ice cream? Will he get hit by a car? So many questions. The lore is just way too complicated now. Like, honestly, Steel Wool, I respect you guys, but like freaking, did we need to have Edwin? Like, Scott Cawthon. Like, I love you, Scott Cawthon. You made my childhood. You made FNAF, but like, I don't think you had to create the Mimic or Edwin, you know? Like, were these guys necessary? I don't think they were necessary at all. Like, they just kind of override, and they just take away so much of like the substance. Before, it'd be 2 sides. It'd be William Afton, the evil guy who kills kids and puts them in robots, right? And then it'd be Henry, that guy who came up with all the animatronics, and he's a good guy who's trying to stop William, and he burns him in a fire, right? That's peak storytelling. But no, apparently both of them were kind of like like people, right? They were kind of both bad people who stole ideas from Edwin, this random animatronic making guy. And it's like, don't do my boy Henry dirty like that. Come on, Henry, Mr. Henry Emily, he's the GOAT. You didn't have to freaking take away all that made him good. This guy can't win at all. Didn't come up with anything original. His daughter got brutally murdered by Afton, and when he tried burning down Afton, that didn't work, and Afton survived. Like, come on, man. Like, let my boy win. Let my boy win at something. Yeah, but like, I feel like the lore should have just, like, this whole story should have ended like when Pizzeria Simulator came out. That was just peak perfect ending. Like, the amount of aura Henry had with that speech, it's peak writing. But no, we just kind of had to keep going. If the Steel Wool Studios had its own entire story that kind of picked up some of the lines, you know, and just went forward with that, with its own characters, own everything, then I wouldn't mind it. But no, it just kind of has to like go back and change a bunch of things, which is like, Scott, this is your story. You can do whatever you want with your characters, okay? You can make Freddy go back in time and prevent the bite of 87 if you wanted to, you know? It's your story, Scott. But at the same time, it's just like, was it really necessary? Was all this really necessary to just complicate the lore a bit more? Like, at least answer some questions from before. Like, I don't know, what's in the box? Please tell us what's in the box, Scott, before you die. Jeez. Also, I just wanted to say one thing. We don't really get to see the core 4 anymore. The OG 4. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, those, even freaking Golden Freddy. We don't really get to see those guys anymore. Plus, you see the Mimic, we see the Puppet every now and then, and we see Glam Rock Freddy. Like, I like these guys. They're cool and all, but just like, can you show more respect to like the guys who kind of started it all? The ones that Scott made in the first place, you know? Like, this is called Five Nights at Freddy's. his name is literally in the series name. Freddy's, not Five Nights at the Mimics, not Five Nights at the freaking Blob thing, whatever. Like, we need to show more respect to the original 4 who kind of started this entire thing, you know. Also, I feel like the series is kind of pushing it a bit too much, you know, like murdering kids, putting them in animatronics, and them haunting them. That makes perfect total sense to me, you know. Remnant, that makes sense to me. That's perfectly fine. But robots pretending to be people or mimicking people and stuff like that, I mean, it's a sci-fi type horror series, but I don't know about that, okay? I feel like the series would have been just fine if it was just like hauntings and ghosts and remnant and stuff like that. But do we really have to make robots in disguise people? Like, come on, I think that's a bit too much, don't you think, Scott Cawthon? Come on. But I want to take a second to talk about the atmosphere of the games. I feel like the first 4 games nailed everything when it came to atmosphere. Like the sounds, the look of the office, the look of the buildings, and like the FNAF 4 kids room, all of that, just perfect. Everything fit together. It was so just like, you know, it was eerie, but at the same time, like familiar nostalgia of like the 80s and like little kids room, like in FNAF 4, right? And even like the grungy greenness of FNAF 3, it just looks so perfect. It looks so sick, but at the same time, so just like, if I were to touch anything in here, I'd immediately get a disease and die. It just makes perfect sense, right? I feel like somewhere in between FNAF 5, you know, Sister Location, and Help Wanted, it kind of like switched over to like a bit more of this like sci-fi type aesthetic, you know, right? Which I don't really have much of a problem. It just kind of like, they left that cool grungy like eeriness behind in favor of that a bit more. FNAF was the first ever mascot horror game, and I think anybody can agree on that, right? FNAF was the first. It's seen everything. It inspired things like Bendy, Hello Neighbor, and Poppy's Playtime. Freaking hate that. I hate Poppy's Playtime so much. Like Garden of Banban, I cannot stand. I hate those freaking games. I can't get into it. Before, FNAF was like the one who inspired other people, right? Now I feel like with Security Breach, Ruin, Secret of the Mimic, right? I feel like it's the opposite now. Like FNAF is copying other people's homework instead of other people copying FNAF's homework. Like the gameplay is way too much like Poppy's Playtime. It's way too much like Bendy, and I do not like that. It's called Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, yeah, sure, we sometimes stay for a 6 or even a 7th night, you know, 6, 7. We might say 6 or 7 nights, right? But at least the minimum was 5 nights. Then why do we stay for 1 night? Why do we have a 24-hour overnight challenge for a Security Breach, for Ruin, for Secret of the Mimic? We don't stay 5 nights there. We stay for 1 entire night and then boom, we're done. Like, no, it should be 5 nights, not 1 night, not 24-hour overnight challenge, okay? 5 nights. 5, it's in the name. And we're not staying at Freddy's, we're staying at a Pixaplex, then a Destroy Pixaplex, and then freaking Edwin's Robotic Factory, you know? It doesn't really feel the same. The gameplay, way too much like these brain rot, Poppy Playtime, Roblox Tycoon type games, and the gameplay is way too much like Poppy's Playtime or like any type of Roblox horror game. I can't get into the gameplay. I'm down to play the original 4, even Sister Location sometimes, the Pizzeria Simulator. I'm down to replay those anytime. But would I ever go out of my way to play Security Breach or play Secret of the Mimic? No, I wouldn't. I'd watch Markiplier play that, and even then, Markiplier agrees that FNAF doesn't even feel the same.
Roll the clip. Say about this is, I think they took a lot of lessons from, what was it, Security Breach, right? So they took a lot of lessons from Security Breach. It was Steel Wool that still did Security Breach, right? Yes. God, that's so weird. That came out in 2021. That feels crazy to think about. But I will say this, and it's something I've been saying the whole game. There's nothing to say wrong about in terms of the game, the gameplay, the polish in it. Like I said, I think they took a lot of lessons from Security Breach in making sure that this one was executed properly. Well, it had like free exploration. There were a ton of puzzles there that I still am going to find, but I didn't, get to just yet. And I think when you look at this from that perspective, it's great. It is. It's awesome. But, and I know this probably, I don't mean to keep being a needle in the heart of the people that worked on this, but it's not their fault at all. It's not all. It's my fault, if anything. There's something missing, you know? There's something missing from not the soul, the seed of it, the bedrock of it. There's something missing from the bedrock of it because, and I get what they're going for with the story, where it's like, this is the origin of all the animatronics, but there's only so far back you can go until you're so far away from what it was that it's no longer that anymore, right? And so this is kind of what that feels like. Whereas Security Breach, I love it because it almost feels like a completely alternate universe from Five Nights at Freddy's at all. Okay, so with that being said, again, I don't want to harp on it, but this one, I miss it. You know, when you have your favorite food from your childhood or something, and you're eating it, and you've been looking forward to it for a long time. You haven't had it in years. And then you go to take a bite and you realize that they changed the recipe. And it's not that it's not good, but it's not what you've really wanted, you know? And it sucks to say that. And it probably sucks to hear that. But it's true. I'm not going to be dishonest here. And I don't even know if there's any value in what I'm saying, but, you know, I'm just speaking what I feel. So yeah, I think that's what I would equate it to. It's good. It is really well made. Like I said, the developers should be incredibly proud, and I hope they don't take anything from what I'm saying, because obviously I am not, as much as I joke about it, I'm obviously not an authority on anything that is.
If Markiplier, the king of Five Nights at Freddy's, is willing to agree that the series doesn't really feel the same anymore, then I feel like that's saying something, you know? MatPat doesn't even make game theory videos anymore. He's gone. It's some random British guy who, by the way, side tangent, by the way, I feel like he's trying way too hard to act like MatPat. He imitates the way he talks so much. It's just really hard to watch game theory videos with this new British guy. I cannot watch these FNAF theory videos with him. He's just trying way too hard to be MatPat. You're not him. You're not the GOAT. You're not him. You'll never be the GOAT ever. Honestly, I feel like I've been a bit too negative in this video, so before I end it off, I kind of want to end it on a good high note, alright? I feel like FNAF is always going to be loved, and it's always going to be having such a big community behind it, right? After all, like I said, it was the first mascot horror game. It's got a crazy complicated lore that still has a lot to figuring out to do, and it's probably still going to be complex as the series goes on, right? But no matter how many things change that I like or that I don't like, it's still Scott's series, you know? He's still behind it all, even though he's kind of retired. So I'm just gonna respect him, and I'm gonna respect his vision. Kind of like with George Lucas, you know? Like, there's a lot of changes that we may not have liked, but there's a lot of things that, you know, we need to respect about. It's his series. This isn't my series, you know? Like, I wouldn't have never figured out any of this, so we kind of have to applaud Scott for making this possible, right? So no matter how many things I don't like happen, I'm gonna have to accept it, because, you know, this is all Scott's ideas. And also, FNAF still has a special place in my heart. Like I said, I was 5 years old when the first one came out. I'm still gonna watch Markiplier play every now and then whenever a new game comes out. I might tune into a game theory every now and then with the new game theory guy, which isn't really for me, but, you know, I still might watch. I'm gonna watch the movies when they come out, because, you know, those are peak. Not really. The first one's kind of, but I know the second one's gonna be good. I know the third one's gonna be great. So there's that. I'm gonna go to Halloween Horror Nights. I'm gonna go into that FNAF house, and I'm gonna enjoy it, and I'm gonna buy as much FNAF merch as I possibly can, okay? FNAF is always gonna have a special place in my heart, no matter what. And I'm gonna still support it. I'm gonna still support Scott. I'm gonna support game theorists and Markiplier and all that. And I'm gonna still be a part of the fandom, no matter how cringy it gets, no matter how many brain rot little Timmies might join in later on. I literally have a FNAF poster right here. Look, if this doesn't show you how much if this doesn't show how much I love FNAF, I don't know what does. I've been supporting this ever since I was a little toddler, ever since I was a little baby man, okay? No matter how old I grow, I'll still always love and cherish those early games in my heart. I probably won't play any of the future games that Steel Wool puts out, because me personally, it's just not for me, honestly. But I'ma always replay and I'ma always cherish those first 4 or 5 games, right? Because they're peak, you know, they remind me of a time where FNAF was more simpler in concept, right? I love FNAF, I love the community, I love Scott, and yeah, even though it doesn't feel the same anymore, my love for the series will never change. And I hope the same goes for you guys. If you love the way FNAF's going right now, then good for you. I support you. You're cool, you're epic, you're awesome sauce. However, if you're an old unk like me and you don't feel the same way, the same admiration you do for the new games than you have with the old games, then hey, let's just support Scott and let's just support Steel Wool, because you know they're still putting out more FNAF content out there, right? But yeah, bro, chachos. With all that being said, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. We're very close. We're halfway there to getting 100 subscribers before the end of the year. We're almost there, bro, chachos. And in conclusion, FNAF is the GOAT.